Lokati here. Today we're going to be doing a leveling guide for any character. This is going to be designed so that you can level any character that you want to in Standard Trade League. And so there is a little bit of prep to this guide. But first things first, we need to pick our character. We got her, we got him. We're going to go ahead and level our mercenary. Now, the first part of this guide is going to be our beginning of the game here. There's nothing complex here. Avoid the headsman, and you leap in the water, and then you miraculously don't freeze to death because there's snow everywhere, and then you wash up on shore. Very exciting stuff. Maybe there's no snow. Maybe there's just snow in that background. Pick a movement type. W-A-S motherfucking D. I mean, I guess if you really like controllers, you can use them, but it's all about the WASD life. First things first. Go up here, you talk to this guy, and you stab or whatever in the back. For mercenaries, so we're going to start off with a crossbow. One thing to note is anytime you're attacking stuff, it is always better to attack with a click rather than holding it down. You'll notice that the character moves faster than he would if you were just holding it down. And the faster he moves is actually based on your attack speed and depends on the animation of the attack. Like, some attacks have an inherently longer animation that occurs after the attack is actually finished. And some attacks you can attack and then dodge roll out of the end of that animation. But, general rule, just holding down your attack button is not the most efficient way to kill stuff. Unless you are just trying to do the most amount of DPS physically possible and you don't want any chance of any small, like, delay occurring in your attack. Like if a boss is stunned and you're not moving or dodging anything, hold down the button all you want. Now this is a leveling guide for all classes, but we are playing the mercenary for right now. And I'll explain that once we get a little bit further here. I didn't see our chest yet. I guess we just haven't seen it. There will be a chest in the starting area that gives you access to your first skill. You get a passive point early. It doesn't matter which way you go down the tree. We're going to be leveling a melee character, not a projectile-based character. So we're going to go down a melee style tree, so this proj damage won't make much of a difference. But for level 1, go ahead and select your proj damage. Doesn't matter. Here's our chest. Here's our fragmentation rounds. You open up, put your skill gem in, and then add this button over. Now, crossbows have like crossbow shot and load fragmentation rounds here. But on the actual leveling process, we will be using a... fire your skill off before it lets you go in. We will be using a quarterstaff for the majority of our leveling process. This is your first boss. If you are using the mercenary here, your little shotgun has like a cone effect, but or your fragmentation rounds, it is a shotgun effect. So you are going to do more damage the closer you are to the target. Yay, we didn't die. So exciting. And then go into town. Now again, this is a leveling guide for a second character. So you have some currency available to spend. Does not take a lot. The more you spend, the little bit better items are that you get. So we're going to come over here to our stash, and we're going to grab our leveling gear. Sorry, crossbow. Nice. Now some of our leveling gear here, you can see we can immediately equip. This is going to be our Pillar of the Caged Gods, our Luminous Paste Sandals, our Fox-shaped Vest, and our North Paw Suede Bracers. Then equip your skill to be able to equip the quarterstaff, because fragmentation rounds is not a quarterstaff skill. Alright, so let's go over all of this gear. First things first is going to be a Pillar of the Caged God. We're going to use this weapon for our entire Act 1 through Act 6 leveling process. Ideally, you want to get this with either 2 sockets corrupted with cold damage or 3 sockets with all 3 added cold damage. Flat damage is all that matters. All of your scaling on your entire character is going to come from flat damage from other sources, because our weapon only does 11 to 22 physical damage. As you can see, it scales area of effect with int, attack speed with dex, and weapon damage with strength. So we're going to be stacking strength, dex, and int. Very straightforward. The strength is going to be the most important thing to us, because we're making a generic leveling build for every single character in the game. And so we're not going to be taking a lot of percentage nodes on the tree, so the percentage damage from our weapon, from our strength, is going to be very, very important. We are using a Fox Shade Quilted Vest primarily because it has move speed on it, but it also has 30 dexterity. Later on, we'll be swapping to a rare chest piece that just has more stats on it. This one happened to have Spirit on it, but more specifically gives us more armor and evasion, which we'll need later in the game once we get there. This is a level 44 chest once we get to that point in the game. If you really can't give up the 10% move speed, you can keep using Fox Shade all the way to the end, but this will increase our survivability a little bit here. Now we have boots here that we have for the future as well. Currently we're just wearing Luminous Paste Straw Sandals because they're usable at level 1 and they give us int. Then we're going to switch over to Wanderlust Sandals, which give us 20% movement speed at level 11, and then we're going to switch over to Rare Boots at level 24 for 20% movement speed and higher strength and dexterity. As the game progresses, you can get higher percentage move speed boots, but these will get us through most of the campaign and through the end of it if you don't want to switch these out ever again. For our gloves, the North Paw Suede Bracers are a good start because they're usable at level 1 and they give us crit chance and physical attack damage, which is flat damage. Later on, we're going to be swapping to Yarn Creeper Ringmail Gauntlets because they allow us strength to satisfy attribute requirements of all of our quarterstaff stuff, so that we can just stack strength. We're going to start off at level 5 using the Greymake Brimmed Helm. We don't have a level 0 helm or level 1 helm because 5 is a really short stretch to get to. This is going to give us a huge amount of strength, dexterity, and intelligence, and then -1 attributes per level, so it starts to fall off around probably level 25, maybe 30, depends on how good of a Greymake that you get. Once that happens, we're just going to switch over to a Black Sun Crest Wrapped Helm because we will be again stacking stats, and this gives us stats. Now we have an Igniferous Crimson Amulet here, which is just a level 0 amulet that does some stuff. You can use whatever you want, it doesn't matter. Next thing up is going to be our 2 amulets here. We have a level 8 version, which happens very soon, which is allocated with Smash, because Smash is dirt cheap to get. And we are going to be heavy stunning bosses. That's 60% increased melee damage versus heavy stunned bosses. Ton of damage for very, very cheap. And then we just want stats on it. This one's got strength and strength. Perfectly fine. Our second amulet here, we can start using a level 17. It's got strength, all attributes, and intelligence. And again, we allocate Smash to it. And again, you can continue to improve these amulets as you level through the game, but these will be good enough to get us through most of the campaign here. Meganode's girdle is like the belt. You're not going to really use anything else for a very, very long time, possibly through the end of the campaign, unless you really struggle with survivability and you need a belt that has more resistances and more life on it. We'll start off with our level 0 rings. They're going to be black iron or black heart iron rings. This one corrupted with skill speed on it. We didn't corrupt this one, but we could get it with a Vol and get El Pupo. Nothing. That's fine. So 2 black heart iron rings because they give us intimidate on hit, which is nice, and they give us physical damage and chaos damage as well as some life regen. It's very good early on, but we will be very quickly switching over to some high flat damage rings at level 17 and level 20 here. And then later on again, more high flat rings at level 44 and at level 41. So those rings will become very valuable for us much later on in the game, and we'll just continue to progress our rings as we level our character. And this is going to be our gear setup for the character. Now, as far as gems go, you're going to start off with your quarterstaff gem, and you can pick your choice, but Falling Thunder is good enough for starting. So we'll go ahead and equip Falling Thunder. Now again, this is a second character, so we can come in unless there's Jeweler Orb that Falling Thunder. And then we can go into our gem tab and grab some support gems here. And on Falling Thunder, we're going to add things for support. And of course, the most important support in the world is going to be Martial Tempo, because more attack speed is more damage and better quality of life. On Falling Thunder, we're also going to go with Primal Armament here. And because I really don't like dealing with mana, we're going to go ahead and grab Inspiration. We'll be doing enough damage. I like not having to worry about spamming my mana flask the entire time I'm playing the character. And so Inspiration is 40% less skill mana cost per attack. We're going to end up attacking relatively fast once we get our stats stacked up, and so that will help to mitigate the costs of a lot of that. Now later on in our skill tree, we will be going all the way around the skill tree, and then you can start from wherever you want to. But Blood Magic right here solves a lot of our problems for skill mana costs later on down the road. So that is something we're going to take. Now, I will provide some links to trades that we have used to find some of these items below. And then there will obviously be a skill tree link as well below so that you can see where you need to go around the tree. But for the most part, you're just going to pick a side of your tree and you're going to break all the way out to the outside, and then you're just going to rock around. That's all you're going to do. We'll also talk later on about jewels that you can get to fill these jewel sockets that you're going to have, and other things that come from the character. But for now, let's get to the leveling process. And we got our first bossy here. Smash her in the face. Not bad. And we got the Devourer. And the Devourer's dead. Little Bramble Gas. Bramble Gas action. Same thing as always. Hit him and kill him. Did upgrade our Upheaval. So we do have... we did upgrade our Glacial Cascade to have Upheaval on it. And we also added Bell, but it just didn't make it on our bar. So we'll put Bell down as well. But Bell is something that we're not going to use just yet, because Glacial Cascade is not going to generate us combo point, because it's not a strike skill. But eventually we will use Bell, so we'll have that ready for the future. And we got our Rust Monster here. And we're also stopped playing with Falling Thunder and just played with Glacial Cascade, which is another option for the Rust King. And you can see bosses still die nice and quick. And the Tomb of the Consort. Small changes, we did change our gloves over to Darn Creepers because we can use those now. And Consort is dead. And we have the Praetor. Now you want to be like at a range from the boss when you're using this Glacial Cascade, where you can hit the boss with the final explosion. It'll do more damage that way. Boss dead. Now we did not go over this earlier because early on it doesn't matter, but at some point you are going to want to fill in your sockets here. Filling in your sockets gives a great source of resistance. Pick up the soul cores, which are 5% all res, 5% all elemental res. That can go in every slot, and that can really get your resistance up so that you feel much more survivable, especially in the campaign. And then later on, as we migrate some of our gear, we can get additional resistance on that gear as we need for our survivability. No, Lachlan, don't do it. Don't get corrupted. You can fight it. It's okay. We are leveling a mercenary, but this is a leveling guide that will work for every class. Boom. Boss dead. Not the king in the mist. Oh no. And King in the Mist dead. Now we are getting close to 14. At 14 we'll be able to swap over to Tempest Flurry, which is going to massively spike our boss damage. But in the meantime, have our first Spirit Gem. Now what you do with your Spirit Gem is completely up to you, but from a leveling perspective, since Frost, for our leveling, Herald of Ice is really good. So we're going to run Herald of Ice, which is going to help us with map clear pretty significantly. And on our Herald of Ice, we're going to want to run Ice Bite. So Ice Bite is going to buff all of our other attacks every time Herald of Ice kills something. And ideally, Herald of Ice will be killing a lot of stuff. Now this does pair well with the Pole Kirkheln ring, so you can green wide freezes. And that is something that we can consider equipping later on, but that is a higher budget ring for a guy that is primarily focused around low budget, but that does become an option for you. And so we may equip one of those and show you what that looks like. It's Crowbell! Hit him! Hit him with the ice! Come on. We're waiting on your crow. And Crowbell dead. Get our first book here, and we will equip our book, and we'll look at where our skill tree is going. So as you can see, we're breaking out the side of the skill tree, going down, getting strength. This should have been strength, not dex, but I'll change that next time I'm in town. And because we are leveling a mercenary, we do have this wonderful handed weapon node that we can take. So we're going to fill this out and come over here for stats, because this is a tremendously powerful node to take on our way down to the outside of the tree. As we break out down there, we'll make some additional bonuses on this node right here, which is all attributes, and percent increased attributes, and damage per 5 of lowest attribute, and then we'll work our way around the tree after that. And then each class is going to have some small node on the way to the outside of the tree that is particularly beneficial for that class. And so we'll talk about those later on as we look at all of the different classes that you can level with this build. And it is Executioner time. No real changes to the build. We'll spend our next passive point here. We're still 2 levels away from our next set of skills. So we'll be Glacial Cascading him to the deaths. Ideally, you want to keep him in that last explosion over there. That's going to do the most damage. As you can see, clear on the build is really solid too. And we are level 14 now, so we have switched our skills around. We're now using Flurry with Martial Tempo, Cold Exposure, and Strip Away. And we'll be using Tempest Bell with Overabundance, Cold Infusion, and Elemental Focus. This will be our 2 single target abilities with Wind Blast, replacing Glacial Cascade, carrying Primal Armament, Pen, and Magnified Effect for clear. Have a boss here. And you're going to Tempest Flurry until you can put down a bell, then you're going to put down a bell, and then you're going to smash the boss.
First ones. Yeah. Oh, all I did was touch it.
And boss dead. Very simple. And it's time for Herald. And we're using Wind Blast for clear, Tempest Flurry, and Tempest Spell for bossing. Did forget to turn on Herald device, and make sure you do that.
I'll remove your head myself. You could bloody well try. Open the cage.
And Theonor is dead. Keep our combo points up while we're waiting for him to phase. Just kind of dodge abilities. We're just waiting for him to phase. Gotta go through all of his shenanigans. Drop a bell. In or dead. Nice and easy. And Wrathbreaker. Be careful with this boss. It's actually a tough one if you don't know what you're doing. But, same thing here. Drop a bell, hit the bell, kill the boss. Easy. And clear off all the little guys here. Alright, we are in the munitions bunker now, and we've made it down to our first jewel socket. And so we'll talk a little bit about the jewels that you want. Essentially, you want jewels that have corrupted stats on them, increased damage, increased elemental damage, or potentially even move speed on them. All very valuable. Just get jewels that have something that fits your build and something that is going to be within your budget. And we'll have a search down below. But for now, let's go smash the boss. As always, Tempest Strike. Drop a bell. Kill the boss. Very straightforward. Blah blah. Get to fight blah blah now. Blah blah gives you your first access to your first ascendancy quest. immediately after he dies. Jamunra! So nice to see you again. Go back in your hole, sir. Alright, we just hit 22. We now have had the opportunity to equip Stormwave into our damage setup. So we replaced Wind Blast with Stormwave. Stormwave is getting Primal Armament, Upheaval, and Longshot. Tempest Bell now has Overabundance, Cold Pen, Ellie Focus. And we've added Ice Bite, Magnified Effect, and Cold Infusion. All of the items. We also went ahead and grabbed a Polkirkhelm ring so that we can Explosion Chain with Herald of Ice and Polkirkhelm, which of course is a very satisfying way to clear maps. So we'll be using that from here on out. As you can see, it just hits in chains and hits in chains and does a lot of damage. And we have good scaling on the ability as well. That'll give us the nice map clears that will make leveling very quick. Currently looking for the boss in the bone pit. Generally speaking, down is the wrong way to go, but taking us that way. I much prefer it when zones go up, to the right, down, and to the left. Upheaval on Stormwave gives us tremendous clear potential, and if you have a little bit of extra money, make sure to gem cutter the Stormwave. Whenever it's gem cuttered, it has a wider strike, and so it's much more reliable in hitting targets. And we got our boss. Same thing, same thing. Tempest Strike Bell. We can of course test our Stormwave damage, but as you can see, single target, way better off. Tempest Strike Bell. Helps with way mainly. Boss dead. And we'll take advantage of that lack of mana. Upgrade our flask. Keep the flask upgraded whenever possible. This one we can't use for one more level, but in one more level, that one will be very nice. Kabbalah. Meet Bell. Bell, meet Kabbalah. Now that gives us a few more points to spend, and as you can see, our tree, we have been diving down to the outside ring of the going for attribute. We also changed out of our stat helm that decreases power as we level over to Black Sun Crest. This will become much more valuable as we go along, and as a good replacement around the level of 21 or 20. And this poor little boss that never gets a chance to play the game, because you can hit him while he's standing here against the door. That's shameful. The Dais of Reckoning. Let me guess. We're gonna Tempest Bell him. Just a quick reminder, versus this boss, you have to hit his hand, which is not ideal. So whenever you're dropping the bell, try to place it by his hand, and that is how you do damage to him. And we are now level 28 versus Torgul. No, wait. That's not this guy's name. What is your name? That is Torgul. And boss dead. Now our scaling is starting to slow down a little bit. That boss took a little bit longer to kill. But everything is good so far. We are currently rocking our Black Sun, still our Fox Shade, one of our things here, a Polkirk Helm, our amulet with stats on it, boost stats and movement belt, our Ringmail Gauntlets, and our Pillar of the Caged Gods. And so we'll keep on. Oh, Jaman-Ra, we meet again. Now, our resistances are lower because we haven't filled our remaining slots with elemental resistances. He does lightning damage, so we'll have to be a little bit careful on the lightning damage incoming. We can't just face tank everything. Fourth he's phased, so he's not going under. There we go. And we'll fall down onto the ground and rinse repeat. Dodge the tornadoes. Dodge the cleave. Put bells down. Collect loot. Yo, girl. Sala. Cut his head off.
Not yet.
Do it. Right. He deserves this. Boom.
It is done.
Alright. So, Act 2 is completed. We have 2 hours and 42 minutes for Act 2. A little bit slow on pace, but we are going over a lot of descriptions and everything as opposed to just blasting through. We are still using Herald of Ice. We are still using Tempest Bell. We are still using Stormwave. We are still using Tempest Flurry, all set up as before. Our passive tree at the end of Act 2 is look like this, with all strength nodes and stats all the way down and around, jewels, and our two-handed damage node. We are rushing for strength nodes over here, as well as our strength nodes on the tree up here. We have two-handed stuff up here that we can take advantage of. We have a strength node over here as well. So we have a lot of good things on this side of the map for our attribute stacking build right now. But for now, on to Act 3. Alright, Root Ridge. Let's do this thing. Now remember, you can have 2 bells down at a time, so don't feel bad about dropping a bell while a bell is already down. You want to drop a bell every time you get 4 stacks of your bell. So you can basically just spam it in between Tempest Flurries. And we got Monkey Man. Same strategy as always. Drop a bell, hit the bell, kill the boss. And it's the Bog Witch, and one of the most convoluted zones in the campaign. But she's not so bad. We can use Stormwave to do damage to her while she's flying around. Much easier than trying to chase her. It helps if you drop the bell in the right place. And she dead. Hello, Chimera. This fight, one of the most well done fights in my opinion. Bells solve all our problems though. Nice and easy. Alrighty, we are on Jinkari here. We are now 37. We have moved down here to take this percent increased strength and increased damage per 15 strength here. We're going to be moving up the tree here. Get these strength nodes here and this two-handed node here. That'll be our next trip. On our skills, Tempest Flurry, Stormwave unchanged. We have added a second Tempest Bell because we're starting to lack a little bit in boss DPS. And so we added a Tempest Bell with stun and armor break on it. And then we added Herald of Thunder after the Bog Witch as well. So we have a little bit better clear. And as all fights go, hit the boss. Drop the bells. Get weirdly stuck in the corner. But the boss is dead. Quick refresh, we are running a bell with Ruthless, Devastate, and Overpower, and our second bell is still Overabundance, Cold Pin, and Elemental Focus. Ooh, and then there's this filthy boss. Yeah. This scene right here, that's a little graphic right there. Somebody needs a bell. Easy peasy. Fire boss time. Skills the same. Pretty roughly the same. We're just dropping bells, collecting loot. Our second bell was misbehaving that time.
Never ceases to amaze me. I wonder what this is all just a misunderstanding.
Napuatsi time. Napuatsi? I think that's her name. It's her. She's the one. Take her away.
Treasure hunter
Bring her to Doriani. As for you, I will pay back every drop of Val blood you have spilled.
Oh, will you?
You are nothing but luck. You will fall with this. I can trust you.
She dodged out of both of our first two bells and made that fight way more difficult than it needed to be. And Doriani. Welcome, sir.
So,
Let's do this thing.
the eve of the end, the demon of Hatsuatl has finally come for me. Nothing can stand against us. I can't give up. I must save my people.
You know why we're here. It happened. It cannot be stopped.
No, I will succeed.
Listen,
How foolish. What? How? Get up! Get up!
And Doriani dead.
Not fail me.
Bye, sir. Thank you for coming. And that finishes up Act 3. So, once again, Tempest Flurry, Martial Tempo, Cold Exposure, Strip Away. This is what's allowing us to give a big exposure on the target. Stormwave, Primal Armament, Upheaval, Long Shot for our clear. Tempest spell with Ruthless, Devastate, and Overpower for stun and armor break. We don't do a lot of fizz damage, but armor break is still more fizz damage, so that is nice. Herald device with Ice Bite, Magnified effect, and Cold Infusion for clear, Lightning Mastery, and Concentrate effect and execute on Herald of Thunder for clear. And then our primary DPS bell is Overabundance, Cold Pin, and Elemental Focus. And that is where we're going to be at for the end of Act 3. Our gearing is roughly the same. Pillar of the Caged God, Black Sun Crest, Great Helm, level 17 Amulet with stats on it, Polkirk Clown Ring for clear, a level 17 ring with stats and a little bit of res and flat damage on it. Ringmail Gauntlets for strength satisfying attributes of melee weapons skills. Meganord's Girdle for strength. And some boots with some stats and some move speed on them. Now going into Cruel Act, we're going to want to upgrade our gear, but we're going to level up to 44 before we do that because we get bases at 44, at which point we will replace our helm, our body armor, and our boots to get massive boosts to our armor and our evasion. And the in-game armor is not very valuable, but during the campaign, armor is incredibly valuable because you're not getting hit for a lot, you're just getting hit a lot. And once we do these 3 upgrades here, and possibly our belt, then we'll be in a good position for resistances, armor evasion, maybe even a little bit more life here. That's good. Keep taking our res away and then giving it back to us as soon as we get to the next boss. Seems counterintuitive. They could have just left my res alone. Thank you for the res. Rust King, go. Who brought his friends over? Doesn't matter. Dead. Oh no, it's Bramblegast. I bet we're gonna drop bells on him. Bells dropped. Oh, Devourer time. And boss down. Salted orb. And the consort. Come on, girl. Bells on bells on bells. Very nice. Alright, we got some gear put together for our build here. Spent a few X on a reasonable helmet that has some stats on it. Spent some money on reasonable body armor that has some stats on it. This one also happened to have spirit on it, so we should probably go ahead and put some supports to help us out. Boots that have reasonable stats and some life on it and some move speed, a little bit of resistances. A ring with some elemental damage on it and some resistances. And then we have an amulet that has some stats and some resistance and a little bit of life and armor. So just a few small upgrades carry us along through Cruel. So level 44 is a good time to make that swap and pick up some upgrades after the end of your routes through Acts 1 through 3. Now, let's go ahead and grab some supports here. We could do a whole nother skill, but I think we're way better off. You know what? I think we will take another spirit skill. We need to level up our Herald device too. Level up our Herald device. And scavenged plating. Survivability is important. Scavenged plating is going to be very good for us since we have a reasonable amount of armor. Turn on scavenged plating, which leaves us at 2 points around. We lost some general stats. We are going to have to get some dex for our skill here. There we go. Scavenged plating is active. Herald of Thunder, Herald of Ice is active. All of our other skills are still active. And then on our support for scavenged plating, we're going to go with persistence and go with cannibalism. Just leaves us at 2 spirit left. That's looking pretty solid there. Our Herald of Thunder. Level 10. I need to upgrade it there. Our other skills are all like 10 or 11. Like those are fine for right now, so we don't worry about those too much. And let's get back to the axe here. Let's go, Lachlan. I know, but you're gonna allow the corruption to seep in once again.
I must make them pay! I must make them suffer!
Bells on bells. Oh, who we got here? Raven, come out to play. I have a bell with your name on it.
To regret your intrusion here!
Keep telling yourself that. That motherfucker stunned me out of hitting him with my bell.
Never surrender!
Don't stand in that. Really? Can't hit him because the thing is in the way? Raven dead. And we are level 44 now. So, it is time to look at upgrading our gear. Oh, the Druid. This is everyone's favorite boss. Because he cheats. Teleports out of all of our bells. I said get down. On the floor. Thank you. Oh, Crowbell. It's fancy meeting you here. And
Am I seeing things?
go. Oh, my bell went out. Thank you, Crowbell, very much. Now we'll take a look at where our passive tree is here. So again, we have come down here, strength everywhere, attributes, and then strength across, and strength over here, and strength here, and then strength armor right here. We're going to start diving into this other two-handed weapon one right here. So our passive points go two-handed, which will go across. Purpose. Mr. Executioner, fancy meeting you.
No escape. Not this time.
This is personal. did was
Oh,
touch you.
Candleback, come on out and play. Candleback, more like Candle Bitch.
Did say religion is
Geonor, round 2. Fight.
This interloper has the power we need. Kill him, and you shall have everything I promised.
No noose this time. I'll remove your head myself.
Do it. Bring it.
pretty well try.
Easy prey. That will not go unpunished. No. Brianna, open the cage. Release the beast.
Peter.
Give me what you promised.
Peter.
I think
Phase.
I so much more
I don't care about your RP drama.
to do the job.
Manipulative whore. How dare you abandon me after all I've given you?
Thank you, Geonor. Appreciate cooperation during these trying times. Doggy, 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 doggy.
On the cliff.
Wrathbreaker. Good.
This doesn't earn my passage. Nothing will.
Wide clear are glorious. Not much changes to our skills. We're still running the same setup here. We added the scavenge plating because we happen to have spirit on our armor. This is not necessary. It's just a little bit more survivability. Did go ahead and take single purpose here, and now we're going to work our way up the tree here for this jewel socket and this jewel socket, as well as blood magic, and we'll reevaluate then. All right, Jamanra.
And leave you to the sand.
Always a cheater.
I tried to seek peace, and the Secabas disgraced me. Drop to the sand. This time, we choose war. We shall finish this, but not today.
Oh, we'll finish it. All right, let's go. Come on. Together. Oh, thank you guys. That's very sweet of y'all to get together like that. I really do appreciate it.
I despise necromant.
Here, snaky, 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 snaky. Snaky. Thank you. Good book.
Disgusting creatures.
Got 4 points. We're going to need to fill this jewel socket. This poor boss. Someone should really tell him that leaning up against the door is not a good plan. It's just sad. Alright, it's hitting time. Remember, bells go on arms. Dead.
For sure. Flesh and bone.
Fire and fire. Ja. Sorry to tell you this, but you're dead, buddy. Look at Jamin-Ra running like a bitch again. Leaving dinosaur skeletons to the dirty work. Gotta get the bells on the boss for the effective. Can't be hurling bells off all willy-nilly. Alright, Jamin-Ra. Out of your bullshit.
The sick man do it. Bow before your king.
Down we go. Nice knowing you, Jamin-Ra.
Never seen a monkey like that.
No, not the monkey. Monkey dead. Oh, boss time. I know, Alva. Alva, you're just gonna bounce. Oh. Come on. Come on, the red dots. Here you go. All the way. All the way. Yay, you did it! Give me the soul core.
That giant construct.
Give me the loot! Hey, Witchy. Let's do this thing. Come on, Witchy. I got you. Playing games. Well, annoying witch. I don't know what's going on. I mean, she's gonna die anyway. Thank you, thank you.
Stick. Ugh.
Now that gives us another aura. We'll take, I think, taking Time of Need. Time of Need is a good all-purpose aura. That will serve us very well. Oh, the fat lady is gonna sing. They should have made her sing. Yeah. Grabs it and puts it out and like eats it. Got her.
A solid goal. He's lost it.
Fire guy. Oh no, what are we gonna do? Oh, he dodged my bells. What a bitch. Get out of here. Oh, Napuatsi. My favorite part
Why, that was me,
of this act is when Napuatsi knocks the shit out of Alva. Yeah. Thank you. I've been wanting to do that for like
As
years.
for you, I will pay back every drop of Val blood you have spilled.
Can't let you take this alive.
Oh, you're such a cheater. Get out of here, Napuatsi. Alrighty, boys and girls, we are at Doriani Act 3, Cruel Difficulty, at the 7-hour, 42-minute mark. So, just shy of an 8-hour campaign. That includes time to shop for things and time to kind of get everything put together for the character and even making the video and all that kind of stuff. We did have 3 deaths in the campaign, just to like stupid stuff. But that's all avoidable. Our skill tree looks like this now, and ideally we would have jewel sockets here, jewel sockets here, jewel sockets here, and jewel sockets here. But the power of the character has been just fine. I haven't seen any reason to fill those yet. But if you're struggling at any point in time, you can fill those up with any of the jewels that fit the jewel search list and be very happy with it. Again, we are running blood magic because that's just real nice quality of life. You don't have to run that, and if you don't have leech on a weapon, probably shouldn't run it. And then strength, and then lots of strength everywhere else, and a couple of two-handed nodes because they're convenient to get here. So let's go in here and fuck up Doriani.
So, at the
Come
end
on
of the end,
down, sir.
The demon of Hatsuatl has finally come for me. Survival requires brutal choices. This is now. I can't give up. I must save my people.
You must save your people.
It happened!
Why couldn't we just negotiate? I was gonna win anyway.
I will succeed. I cannot let my efforts be in vain. I've been preparing for you for years. Pay for this. You think you can run?
Bells for the win. And that is the end of our campaign. If you have any questions over this leveling guide, please leave a comment down below. Or just come by Twitch and ask. I'm happy to help anytime I can. All of the links will be in the comments down below for item searches and max roll guides for passive trees and so on and so forth. Thank you very much. Y'all have a wonderful day. Peace.